The one advantage with the rifle is typically you can load 30-round magazines. Typically, during some of these tactical situations, they'll stack the 2 magazines, one upside down, finish shooting 30 rounds, push a button, flip the other one over as quickly as you can turn it in, and now you have another 30 rounds to shoot. So the tactics, what's odd with this whole thing that I find odd is, you know, we've heard about the mental health issue and the gun issue. It's really a triad. Why are these young males, where are they learning these tactics? Where are they learning to dress? Where are they learning the reloading tactics? How are they learning to bring these type of weapons and do these pre-planned attacks? And many of them are learning from video games or movies, and I think that needs to be part of the discussion, because somebody who's mentally unstable isn't necessarily going to kill someone. Somebody who owns a gun isn't necessarily going to kill someone. But when you put these 3 things together, it can be a recipe for disaster.
You know, I think you're right, and I think our culture is very contradictory, right? On one hand, we decry violence, and yet our movies are so violent. We talk about mental health, but we don't necessarily financially support it. We talk a lot about guns in the aftermath of events like this, but we don't actually do anything about it. So I think you're right. So why would someone collect a semi-automatic rifle? I mean, if his mother has been described by some as a collector, why would someone have that kind of a gun? I mean, the thing is massive looking.
The Bushmaster, actually, that's one that was used by the Beltway snipers. But it's considered a sporting weapon. Some people say it looks like an assault weapon, looks like a military weapon, but it has characteristics that make it suitable for sporting purposes. Therefore, it was never banned under the old assault weapon ban, nor is it banned by the Connecticut assault weapon ban. But as far as why somebody would want one of these, a lot of people, just because they can have one. Some people think it's sexy to have one of these things. Some people feel it's for self-protection. But it's within the law to have one, so people feel they can do that.
Mike Bouchard with us this evening. Thank you so much. We want to get right back to Deb Fayrick. She's got to look at some of the other stories that are making news.
But we're talking about a situation here where something was pre-planned, was deliberately thought out, drove a distance to do it, and basically targeted individuals who were clearly nowhere involved with anything that's going on. We need more information.
Doctor, I think you're right as you say that, and we do need more information on a lot of fronts. Very little, as I pointed out, is known about the shooter at this point. So there was a question about, early on, when this story broke, there was word that she was a teacher in the school, and we now know that that was not the case, that she was not a teacher in the school, but that she might have some affiliation with the school. What have you been able to learn on that front?
You know, when she divorced, there was speculation within the community that she might have used her maiden name and may have done some substitute teaching. That was later pretty much batted down by most of the school authorities that we talked to and others. So it was really not clear what she was doing. She certainly had taken some time off into working in finance, and she had essentially got very much into gardening, very much into landscaping. What her connection was with the school, if any, is unclear.
It is so many questions to be asked, and we've heard so much contradictory information throughout. Really, it's been, what, 30-plus hours now that we've been covering the story, and there's so many questions and so few answers about the shooter, his family, any motivation. You know, I guess as law enforcement says, they will release more information about him as soon as they're done with that post-mortem, which will be tomorrow morning, and we'll be waiting for that. David Ariosta, thank you so much for that report.
Ellie, what are you hearing?
Well, more questions come out every time we try and find more information out. You can't see the house. It's behind me, behind that police car that you see. That's cordoned off. It is still a crime scene. Police say they've actually found it quite fruitful what they've learned in here. The one question that keeps coming up here, this is a very upscale, affluent family. What's the connection to all of the guns? Some police sources are saying that Adam may have had access to 6 guns. 2 of which were used in the shootings, 1 which was a semi-automatic rifle, a Bushmaster, which was found in the car, and then 3 other standard rifles. One of them was an Enfield over here. Now, we did speak to a landscaper in the area who had actually been involved in putting up Christmas decorations, a lot of Christmas decorations around here, very recently for Nancy Lanza. Now, he told us that Nancy Lanza had showed him a rifle that she had purchased recently, that she was a gun enthusiast, and she liked taking her kids to target practice. We don't know what that means and where that target practice was. We also have word from the ATF that that doesn't seem to be true. So we're just trying to get to the bottom of what role guns had in this family. But for the moment, a lot of these neighbors say they didn't really know them all that well, even though they've lived in this house since 1998. Wolf?
Since 1998, they've lived there, and they were obviously very quiet, these folks. People didn't, they weren't very sociable. Is that the impression you're getting?
Yeah, you know, initially I thought it was that they weren't sociable. It's just that they weren't very well known around this area, which is interesting. It's a very quiet area. There are no street lights on. The only lights you see are from our cameras. It's a quiet area. Both of the sons are said to have enjoyed skateboarding, so I would have figured that meant people would have seen them around here. But we're not actually running into a lot of people who knew them. Now, I'll tell you one thing. These neighbors are being very quiet right now. Many of them were evacuated or they're taken out while that crime scene was being combed, and many of them are in their homes, but their lights are off. We see them looking out every now and then. We don't want to be disturbing people who don't want to talk to us. So we're not getting as much. I mean, maybe they knew more people. Maybe their social circle was outside of the neighborhood. It is just unusual that in a place like this, after having lived here for so long, we don't have a lot of people coming forward and saying, we really knew them, here's what they were like. So we don't really have a full picture yet. It is unfolding. It is developing. The key thing here is we know that Nancy stopped working recently. We're not quite sure why. And we're trying to get to the bottom of that, Wolf.
That we made available earlier. We'll take some questions, but I must preface my remarks by saying this is an active, ongoing investigation. There is a great deal of work to go, and there is a lot of things we cannot confirm or discuss as of yet. I can't discuss any further information on that at this time. There is assistance being lended to us by New Jersey. I don't have the details on that, so I can't answer that. I'm sorry. I don't have any more detail than that. Okay? You had a question, sir? Someone? No, I don't have that information. I'm sorry. To be determined. I don't have the answer to that question either. The next step, they're in one section or one area of the school. That's the best I can do on that answer. I don't know specifically how many rooms were involved. I was told that there were 2, but in one section of the school. Not to be determined. So a section of the building is as far as we want to go.
Did you already say how the shooter died?
We did not. We did not. To be determined. That's really something that our investigators are going to have to look at thoroughly and completely, and that'll take some time to try and answer that question. We haven't established any of that, ma'am. We have not made any positive identifications. We're working on that. I don't. No, I don't. That I don't know. I don't know the time sequence, and that'll be something that we will provide you. What I'd like to do is, no, we did not. Myself, a lieutenant from Newtown, will be back in 60 minutes. We'll see if there's any more detail. I've got some of the questions that you posed. I'll see if I can get some more answers to provide you with information. No, that I don't know. I do not. I do not. We'll be back in 60 minutes with the lieutenant. We'll answer any additional questions we can. I don't know. I'll get it. Next, please. No, certainly, you know, and I can't even begin to speculate. We just simply don't have that information to provide to you. As I've stated numerous times, we definitely are peeling that onion back layer by layer, and we'll know all that information. And believe me when I tell you, there's a team that are working on just that, working with ATF and other federal authorities, state authorities, and local authorities to make sure that no stone is left unturned regarding that specific training, sir. Yes, sir. So I didn't indicate what evidence was has been seized at any location. I don't know where that information came from, but we did seize significant evidence at the residence. We are analyzing and will analyze, and it's a very painstaking process in forensic science. It's going to take some time to do that. We don't discuss evidence, sir. I'm sorry, we do not discuss evidence, its content, or detail what it is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's correct, sir. I can't. The question was, there were 2 people that were wounded in this and did survive, 2 adults. That is correct. They were wounded in the lower extremities. I do not know the location in the school. I cannot answer that question.